Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Today is the 4th of January, 2020. Oh, 2021. Okay, got caught with my pants down there. Anyway, listen, guys. Let's talk about Bitcoin. You know, an awful lot of people out there are thinking, hey, this is the end of the rally. Bitcoin's peaking and everything else. And they're going by past experience. Uh, what's happening in the world right now is we have a financial system that is reaching the final stages of an exponential function. This is a situation that's never happened before. And we're reaching Bitcoin that is in an exponential function too, caused by the exponential function of the fiat currencies losing value. This could lead to a transfer of wealth. People looking to get out of the fiat currencies and get into cryptocurrency. So this is creating a situation amongst investors that they haven't seen before, but they're going to start to realize it real quick. And what this situation basically is if they own Bitcoin, if they go to profit take, they're going to see that they have to buy in later at a higher price. Because the moves downwards when they go to profit take, which is a normal situation. Normally, that's what people do. When something goes to a certain level where they're thinking it's peaking, they go to profit take. And so when they go to profit take on this, they end up having to buy in at a higher price again. And for investors, this is not the situation that they like. As far as it's not working like a normal market. And so we're seeing these little moves down in the price of Bitcoin is, and where do we think the actual ceiling is? And we're starting to lose contact with reality in the cryptocurrency marketplace. With the normal reality, the reality of the way things have been for forever, the way markets function, and all these charting patterns people do and everything with heads and shoulders charting patterns and Fibonacci tracements and all this kind of stuff. It's all out the window now. Because of the major situation in the macro part of the environment in other words, people that study paintings and stuff, some people like to look at a painting real close up. Other people like to stand back, but when you stand back, you get to see the more full picture. And this is why the cryptocurrency marketplace is not like a normal market right now, is because when you stand back and you look at the total picture of the fiat monetary system, and this has been the driving force for Bitcoin all along, ever since its inception, has been the instability that they've created in this fiat monetary system by creating a Ponzi scheme. Back in 1914, when they started this mess, they created a Ponzi scheme, but they were connected to gold. And this is why back in the 1930s, we had deflation during the Great Depression, because the currency was still connected to gold. We can't have deflation now. Yes, we can have a little bit of deflation, but then they'll pump the money back in again. And they'll keep pumping the money back in because they know that the system could collapse if they don't. It's just going to be a series of them trying to hold back as much as they can and printing the money, but then the system becoming unstable and them jumping back in and printing all the more. And this is going to keep going until the dollar's dead. Because the fundamental way it's structured from the beginning is it's created where money is created from debt. So they can never pay the debt off. Because if they try to pay the debt off, the money ceases to exist. So they need people to keep spending. They want to send these checks out to people. And soon it's going to be in central bank digital currency. They'll send the money out to people. And they want that money spent. They don't want that money to pay off debt. They don't want you to use that money to pay off debt, because this makes the situation even worse. And so now that's why they're thinking about central bank digital currency, because they want to control where the money is spent. In other words, they'll send you the money and they can keep their eye on it and see where you're spending it. And if you're spending it to pay off debts, they might cut your amount back. They want you to head to Walmart and just buy everything like big well, it's past Christmas, but they want you to go, they want to see you spending it on chasing goods and services, spending it into the real economy. And this to pump up the velocity of money. They want to increase the velocity of money. But ultimately, what we're looking at is a situation here. If the velocity of money starts to increase, so will inflation. And this is why they've moved their inflation expectation target up from 2% higher. It's going to run away. As soon as the velocity of money starts to increase, and Bitcoin is, and gold and silver, all three, will increase the velocity of money once they start to go exponential in their exponential function. Because what happens is, if somebody goes out and they got money stored away and they buy Bitcoin, the money flows right through the Bitcoin. The money doesn't cease to exist. The money, I mean the fiat currency. Buys the Bitcoin. They put the Bitcoin away then as their savings. And what happens to that fiat they used to purchase the Bitcoin with? Well, it's out there in the system. It's changed hands now at least once to purchase the Bitcoin, but it'll probably start changing hands more now, because it's not in the bank account anymore where it was sitting. Just in the United States alone, there's $20 trillion sitting in people's bank accounts. It's not moving. It has a velocity of 0 that could chase after Bitcoin. That's just in the United States alone. That's just the personal savings in the United States alone. That's not the money floating around in the financial system of the United States, which is even a lot more. Now, that's just the United States alone. But what we're talking about here is a worldwide phenomenon of not just the United States, but every country on Earth. Do you have any idea how high they could pump the price of cryptocurrencies, gold and silver? It's not unreasonable to think 100 times. But what would our world look like after they pump it up 100 times over from its value? Well, that means your dollar's not going to buy very much anymore. But it also means that if you had been in those dollars, your dollar's worth 1 penny now, because in Bitcoin now is worth 100 times what you purchased it for. So one person is going to get rich and another person is going to get poor. What kind of disruption are we looking at when you have millions of people getting poorer and just a very handful of people that are into cryptocurrencies and into gold and silver getting rich? It's a transfer of wealth suddenly from one group to another, and the group that was in the fiat currencies, they lose everything. They might have a business and their business goes under because they can't support it, because suddenly the dollar's purchasing powers went to nil. This could jam up the system and freeze the system if it happens too suddenly. And I'm telling you guys, it could happen very suddenly. I'm seeing it now that it could happen very suddenly. It could happen in just a couple months period. Or it could be stretched out over a couple years. Let's hope it's stretched out over a couple years. Let's hope we see a couple year long rally, like a 2-year long rally, because the system will not become so much unstable. But if it happens in a month or two, which it could, we could see it affect the system adversely and cause tremendous instability within the system. On top of a lot of other situations that we got going on, like the virus and which is a tremendously disruptive situation. There's an awful lot of instability in the world right now, and you've got to prepare for this instability. I've been telling people to empty out a closet and fill your closet, with supplies that you need. But that's what we're seeing happening with Bitcoin right now. And there's an unlimited peak for Bitcoin. It's unlimited. Like, take for instance, just a few weeks ago, a high price for a Bitcoin was 15,000. Right? That was an expensive Bitcoin, 15,000. Now a cheap Bitcoin is 20,000. That would be a cheap Bitcoin. If Bitcoin went down to 20,000, everybody would think, hey, Bitcoin's on sale right now. Back up the truck. And that's just the difference a few weeks can make. It's all in your head. Where is the upper limit for Bitcoin? Well, there is no upper limit. It can go up and up and up to infinity. But and the opposite side of this situation is, how low can the dollar go in its purchasing power? There's no limit to how low it can go. So we got one asset class that there's no limit to how high it can go, and we got the other asset class that there's no limit to how low it can go. And both are in an exponential function. And this is why you can't judge Bitcoin right now by normal market concepts or normal market charting or anything like that. It's all out the window right now. And yes, we are seeing these little moves up and little moves down. But investors are starting to realize, hey, if I let go of my Bitcoin, I'm going to have to buy in at a higher price. And so you better think twice about profit taking. Because you might be cutting off your nose to spite your face. If you sell, the best policy really right now is to HODL, even if it tips down. I mean, Bitcoin could have a little correction, and if panic sets in, the correction could turn pretty large. But ultimately, it's still going to stay in that exponential function that it's in, and the dollar is going to do the same. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.